So, thanks, Guy. I'm very glad to be here. Thanks to Fable to inviting me. So, hi guys, I'm Sven Sauleau. You can find me on Twitter at this handle here. And as you may have noticed, I'm part of the maintainers of Babel. And feel free to reach me on Twitter or just ping me. I'm also comfortable in speaking in French. I'm actually French, so it's a lot easier for me. A side note, we had this talk of indie just earlier ago, and this is one of my projects. This is what we call a digital playground for intelligent agents. So what you can see behind me is just one agent shooting like randomly, but still shooting. And the goal here is to kill your opponents, which are maybe something. Yeah, one is here. Yeah, never mind. Oh, yeah, here's one. So, okay, the goal is to kill the opponent, and the real goal is to create your own intelligent agent. So you can use JavaScript or F# if you wanted to. And yeah, you need to catch obstacles, don't fall through the map, and so on. But this is not the. Feel free to reach me if you have questions about that. This is not the goal of this talk, so I need to skip this. Oh, cool. I love functional programming. I've done a lot of HawkML stuff, ReasonML stuff. And I also, from the outside, because I don't use F# yet, I absolutely love F#, especially the type system of F#, which is very cool. I think you guys know this example from F# Fun & Profit, I think. Yeah, it's amazing. So, what is Babel? As Alfonso said, sorry for your name, in this journey there will be a lot of magic, and Babel is part of the magic behind Fable. So I will try to explain you what Babel really is. First, who know what Babel is? Okay, cool. Cool. So first of all, Babel is a big project. We have near 400 contributors, over 22k stars, almost 10 million downloads per month, which is a lot for a JavaScript project. And we have like 2,000 plugins on NPM. This is the team behind Babel. Yeah, so we are just only a bunch of people maintaining Babel. So how does Babel even work? On the left, you have your code, which is in this case JavaScript, which is just ES25 and in 15, sorry. And you can even input what we call proposals, which are new syntax or new features which aren't in the language yet, but you can still use it in Babel. This is one of the main features of Babel. And you will pass it to an AST, and then it will generate code. I will show you how Fable integrates into that pipeline a bit later on. Babel is also has multi-purposes. You can do static analysis, you can do AST manipulations, and well, he has a good plugin system. There are many tools out there which are powered by Babel. You have a lot of minifiers, linter, prettier, and stuff. Flow, and one of the main thing, which is not released yet, so it's kind of a spoiler, but you can soon transpile your TypeScript code with Babel. So, okay. And of course, one of the big tool build of Babel is, of course, Fable. And this is how Fable works. you have on top the classic native pipeline, I guess. On the left, you have your F# code. Then you would pass it to an AST, which will be so some transformation will be applied by Fable. Then Fable will pass it to Babel, and then Babel will transform it to JavaScript code. And this is how Fable works. One of the very cool features of Fable, from my point of view, is that you can integrate very well with the JavaScript community and ecosystem. So this is a very cool feature. And this one, you can read it on the website. It's a true statement, and it's very important. I guess you can not read it. Should I make this bigger? Okay. So this is very straightforward. You have just a function which is transpiled to a function. Nothing complex here. But now you have currying, which is not in JavaScript. So you cannot write currying in JavaScript, but you can in F#. So it does output this, which is readable. And you have also return statements. I mean, in F#, everything is an expression. So you can just have the last statement, which will be the return value of the function. But in JavaScript, you don't have this at all. So you need to make some kind of magic to make this happen in JavaScript as well. Yeah. This is another example. So we have, by the way, don't use this code, it's completely useless. But this is to demonstrate the generated code. And as you can see, it's very clear. Actually, I could write this on my own app. It's just clear enough. Okay. Do you know this example? Okay, cool. It's from the Fable sample repo. I took this just a classic to-do example, but I have to take this for my experiences, something like that. So I took this and I compile it, and I saw this is part of the output, and I saw this, and I noticed that we are using classes, and this is because this is JavaScript you can be proud of. It uses classes and it uses reflection. I mean symbols. Sorry. And these features aren't in most browsers, but you can have some sort of compatibility issues if you use it on like all browsers or IE. So just because before I go further, I want to introduce with what a polyfill is. So for example, you have the spread syntax. Do you know the spread syntax in JavaScript? Okay, cool. So for example, you cannot use the spread syntax on IE 11 because it's not supported and the syntax isn't supported at all. So what you need to do, if you throw this in Babel, you will output this one, which is just a giant output. But the main part is you will use object.assign, and if it doesn't find object.assign in the current environment, you will take this one. And this is what we call a polyfill. It's like a browser fallback. And this is the code which will be run on IE 11 because it doesn't support object assign, for example. And then you have the transpiled stuff. So, and if, do you know Babel preset on? Ah, cool. So this is the Babel recommended way to handle those kind of compatibility issues. So what it does, it will still parse the code, and at the AST level, look at what feature you use and which one is supported and which one is not. And this is done. One of the guy behind React, and they are using Babel preset env recently, and he said that when you have some sort of easy configuration, it's way easier to express. I think this configuration makes sense to all of you. Just this one. It's just I want my app to run on this target. And this is how Babel preset env works. You need to specify a target, which is in that case last one Chrome version. But you can also like tell I want this to run on Safari 7. I want this to run on Chrome something. You need to specify a browser, and you can specify a range of version in a browser. Are you guys familiar with rollup? Oops. Rollup? Yeah, it's an alternative to Webpack. Okay. I didn't mention this, but all my slides and all the example will be made public, so I can just take them and play with it. But this is rollup. So in order to work with Babel, you need to specify the Fable plugin. Actually, this works with Webpack too. I just took a rollup because it was simpler to me, but worked the same with Webpack. And then I specify the env preset in my Babel configuration. I specify what target I want to my app to run on. This is important for rollup. You need to not transpile the ES 2015 modules. So you just need to pass modules false. But this is rollup specific. And then there's debug for the output. And then when you run your build, it will tell you, it will tell you which targets you have configured. And the important part, is the plugin he has detected in the AST thing. So he has detected that I'm using classes. So in the target I specified earlier, classes aren't supported. So he needs to transform magically my classes into something that can run on this target. So this is what Babel preset env does. And just a quick detail. We have a huge table made by some guy called Gangax. It's a huge table. And it has all the compatibilities between which version, which browser, and which feature is supported. So you could take this by hand and do it yourself, but Babel preset env does it for you. So it's very cool. And the output after applying my transformation is this. Classes doesn't look like classes anymore. They have been transpiled, and even the symbol thing has been globally polyfilled. So in that case, I could run my app on EA 11. There's no problem anymore. There's still a problem, which is now that I don't have native features anymore, what about performance? I have to say that the Babel classes are a bit slower than the native equivalent syntax, but it's still better that your app run a bit slower, that your app doesn't run at all on the target. So I think it's a cool trade-off. Something less cool is the async await transformation. It can increase your bundle size over 600%, which is a lot. But still, if you want your app to run, you can use this. I've seen in F# there's some sort of async, I don't know if Fable uses. Okay. Okay. So yeah, just to know. So there's a new tool I want to show you as well. It's called MeifI. It has been renamed from Babel. Maybe you have seen Babel on the internet. Note that this is still in beta. Same, I have my rollup configuration. I need to, I have my Babel transformation. And then I have to pass my preset minify to my Babel configuration. I run my compilation, and I got my app down to 44 kilobytes, which is like decreased by a factor of 2, which is very a lot. For the comparison, this is the same app on the Fable website. We have over 100 kilobytes, and to be honest, this was quite surprising to me. So I have a small reproduce thing. So this was the bundle address. You can do the same thing, and you will get the same result. So just to reproduce. To be fair, the online version uses ES2515. Sorry. So I did the same. I have still my minify preset, but this time I added the ES2015 preset as well. But the result is still way less than the bundle initial size. So it's very cool. I will recommend you to use minify. And now the secret behind Fable. The real secret is Babel generator. What it does, it takes, well, it's written, it takes AST and it outputs code. Actually, it doesn't have many options. So you can just tell, I want the output to be minified. Actually, it's better to use Babel minify because this is just like a small version of minify. It's just super simply simpler minification. Oops. But you can also don't print comments. If you want your bundle to be comment free, you can just say comments false. Just a cool trick. Another very cool thing in Fable, it's, I don't know if you noticed the classes and the export and import things. These are new features actually. But if you want to, in the next version of Node, it will be native. So it's called ESM. It's the Node module system. And the very cool thing is Fable is already compatible with this. So you can just use it. And it will be soon in browsers. So very cool feature. And now I have a thing because we can. This was the main justification. In Babel 7, you will be able to use a JavaScript configuration file. So instead of the .babel.rc, we have a .babel.js. But since you can compile F# to JS, why wouldn't you use Fable? So I have here my F# Babel configuration, which when I compile it, it will become the Babel JavaScript configuration. So in case you need it, you can use it. To make this talk, since I am on Linux, it was I had a very hard time to install .NET and that stuff. So I made a Docker image which contains all the necessary. So you can just take it, and if you are on Linux, I don't know if some of you are. Okay. We are still looking for people in Babel. So if you want to contribute, just feel free to ask me. And Yeah, just to know the salary is priceless. But we are still looking for people. If you want to work on a cool compiler thing, Babel is the right tool for you. So, thanks, Eric. Yeah.
Thanks. The minify you mentioned, how much of it was roll-up effect, and how much was of it the minifier effect, the size and the difference?
You mean between? Oh. What? Okay. Yeah, you mean this one? The actually, when you use, I couldn't use Webpack because the main reason is Webpack in production mode uses Uglify by default. So you can not remove it, which is kind of stupid, but I had to use rollup to be able to use minify. And the main difference here, because we have still like 40 kilobytes difference between the online build and this one. The main difference is Webpack uses multiple module system, and he had to use like a compatibility layer between these modules. And Rollup doesn't have this issue because it's force you to only use ES 2015 modules. That's why I had to disable it here.
And the next question, any plans for WebAssembly?
No. No, but that will be cool.
No, but or not that you can tell.
No. I can't tell.
There was a question. I said, WebAssembly. Everybody will ask for WebAssembly always.
Yeah.
Also for Fable. Any other question? So your recommended ways to use a Babel preset in M?
Yeah.
Now? Okay, so I think we have to update the Fable templates because we are still compiling to ES5. But okay. And also, do you know any other Babel plugins for performance or something that is interesting to use in your pipeline?
There are some plugin performance, but they are most like if you want to optimize React components or very specific stuff in CSS and JS thing, you have a lot of plugins. But I mentioned something here. There are a lot of very specific optimization, like prepack. This is the most generic one. I don't know if you know it.
Yeah. I use it, but the time I used for Fable, it didn't produce. It wasn't. It didn't work for Fable. I know it was Fable's fault or prepack, but
it's still in beta. But this one is very good, so it can. Sorry.
Prepack. What does it?
Yeah, what does prepack do?
It's optimizer for your code, but it will run your code and look what changes. Like when you do side effects and stuff, it would look what changed, and then write this onto your code. So it will reduce the startup time because all the processing you do at startup, you will already have this in your code. So the best is to look at the documentation.
Is there also something like an obfuscator as a Babel plugin? Not Uglify, because Uglify only uglifies.
Yeah, no.
Which is sometimes, depending on your needs, not enough.
I can show you something.
Like my name becoming Christoph's, something like that.
I will try to find an example. Oh, I hope you see it. I haven't tried this with Fable, but basically it replaced all your identifiers into emojis. So that's obfuscation technique.
And one question was you were saying that you will be able to transpile JavaScript. What's the advantage, for example, of using Babel to transpile JavaScript instead of JavaScript itself?
There's one big advantage, which is you can use the Babel plugins in your pipeline. And one disadvantage, it's we don't do type checking, so you still need some kind of daemon running and checking your type or your code. But the main advantage is you can use all of Babel things, presets, plugins, Babel preset env, for example. This is the main advantage.
And but always the target is always JavaScript. I mean, you won't be able to produce TypeScript because one of the sometimes it comes a request for Fable is that people want to output types in Fable output, and it's not possible. There was I was trying to do it once with flow annotations and then using a plugin, but it's not working at the moment. So I don't know. Is there any possibility to output type information using Fable?
I think Flow. It could work with Flow for TypeScript. We didn't do this, but I wanted to try something. I didn't do it. It's called Flow annotation comments. It just takes the flow annotation in your code, which you could produce from Fable AST, and then it will output all the types in comments in your produced code. So this is cool because you can even interpret all the comments to have your initial type system if you wanted to. Okay.
So, thank you very much, Sven.
Thanks.